Hi, good morning, Sabarna. How are you?
Fine, ma'am.
Fine. Very happy to see you. How
Thank
are
you,
your
ma'am.
friends?
Thank you.
Do you have contact with your friends? Hi.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you hear me, ma? Sabarna, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay, very happy that now you are working in.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
I'm do preparing for government exams.
Oh, okay. So very happy to see you. Welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
I
Thank you.
think students will be observing you very keenly and they will follow your steps. Okay, thanks.
Yes,
Thanks for
ma'am. Yes,
accepting
ma'am.
everything. Okay. And
Okay, ma'am.
the
Okay, ma'am.
students
Okay.
will ask the doubts at the last. Okay, we can have the session at last.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes, ma'am.
And now I'm going to give you a presentation about how to start a project. Okay. And this is the agenda of our today's project. Like we are going to start from how to plan our project, then we'll move on with what is Arduino and what is MIT app inventor, and then what is Raspberry Pi, and then we'll move on to sensors, and we'll kindly move on to IoT. Because before going on to a real-time project, you should have some basic knowledge about Internet of Things, and then we'll discuss about some real-time project that is going on by today. Okay, then the thing is, how it is a project planning and how we to develop a project. The first thing is which is feasibility study. Like before starting a project, we should identify whatever the problem going on to our society, and we have to gather ideas about that project, and then only we have to start it. Okay, for the problem identification, I will refer you some websites where you can go and search of the societal problems. Okay. The next thing is team members and the team formation. Before starting a project, you should identify your team members, because working on with the individual is not sufficient in exploring a real-time project. So we do have to form some teams. Okay, the team should be formed in such a way that each and everyone is able to communicate with the team members and can share the ideas with them. The third thing is project plan. Once the team is identified and the team members are formed, then we have to move on with the project planning. Okay, where we have to identify the domain in which we are going to start our project. The domain is something like agriculture is some one domain, and something like medical is another domain. Like we have to identify the domain in which we are going to start a project. Then is the structure plan. Once we are identified everything, we have to make a structure, like what is to be start from the basic and what is the next level. Like that we have to design our project. The next thing is designing, where you have to make an action plan, like what you are going to do till from start to end. Like you have to make a project with the time management thing. Okay, you have to schedule the time, and you have to plan for an individual work also within group activity. Okay, like we have to have some time for sharing your ideas with the team, and you have to do some individual work, and finally have to combine them all to give a real time application. The next thing is implementation. Once your designing is over, you have to start implement your project, right? Where you have to design the prototype of the project. A prototype is a thing where you are going to give a structure of the project, or you have to going to give some real time application. Then you have to review your project. Actually, reviewing is a thing which will help you to develop a good project, because once you are done with the half level, you don't think like it is over. It is in the start stage only. So until you complete your project, you should review your project again and again with the final application, so that your outcome will be better. The next thing is evaluating a project. You have to analyze the results from start to till so that you can have a better idea, or you have some ideas like where we have to change the thing, like we have to improve our project, or is this okay, like you have been having some better ideas. The next thing is we have to give some feedback, like you have to get feedback from others, your staff members or your friends. You have to get feedback for your project, so which will help you to give yourself motivated, because once you get a good feedback, like positive feedback, you will be very enjoying and you will be getting enjoyed. Okay, so you have to get some feedback, and don't worry if you get a negative feedback, it will actually help you to grow your project to the next level. The next thing is, now we are saying we have to think and we don't know how to think, and this is the basic. Okay, like how to think is, you have to first think of like what is it, what is the project is about, or how we can make it, and who is it for. Like a real time application is there, and there is a societal problem, you don't know how to address that societal problem. Like, then first thing what is the problem is about, then think it of how can we make it, like how we can make it, prototype things we need, things like that. Okay, then who is it for, is it for the agriculture department, is it for the societies, or is it for some medical application? You have to think like that, because in order designing some small applications, it is better to design some small real-time application that can help the society to clear out their problems. The next thing is problem identification. Here, you have to identify the type of problem. I said in the first slide itself. But we don't know where to identify and we don't know the societal problems, right? Then I suggest this website, which is Smart India Hackathon. Actually, this website is for the graduate students, but we do have some basic ideas there. So you students can go and refer this application for societal problems. Like I heard most of you students were interested in agriculture, agriculture problems. So have mentioned some agriculture domains. Okay, so like here we are having a problem statement like crop guidance and farmer friend. Like actually, when you are designing your thing, you first you have to identify the problem statement, right? For that you can refer this application, and there is no need to log in or register. Once you visit this website, you can go to the problem statement and will directly get this page. The next thing is other website, which is electronics for you. Actually, this website will do not have the problem statement, but instead they will be having the real time projects going on, and how to make it, will have the videos also. So it is easy for you to go and refer this application. And one thing, before starting a real time project, you should have to do some basic mini projects, right? For that you can refer this application. And look, here it's mentioned that social distancing alarm app. Like now we are going with the COVID situation, right? So for this COVID situation, we need to maintain distancing from people, and some people are thinking how to make some distance between the peoples, like how to communicate in distance, right? So for that they have designed one application called social distancing alarm cap. When do we wear this cap, it will provide some distancing, okay, and it is using some basic sensors to do this application. And I have mentioned the website link in the below so that you can go and refer this application. The next thing is electronicsHub.com. Actually, these two will have some basic projects like with LED, with sensors, with with the Arduino and with microcontrollers also. So do refer this for your future ideas. The next thing is team formation. Now we'll discuss about the basic things that I've discussed in the first slide, and we are going to see some things elaborately. Okay, so the first thing is team formation. So in order to form a team, we have to follow these four things, right? Okay, so we'll start. The first thing is forming. The forming is nothing but a team should not act as an individual. It should act as a complete group, and each and everyone present in the team should have a clarity about the team's purpose and also the individual roles. Okay, actually, this is the basic. Okay, the thing is storming. Like in storming stage, usually people will have conflict between them, right? Will everyone as an individual will try to conquer the first place in the team? Actually, that this is not the thing. Each and everyone in the team will have the equal role, and there is no difference between the team leader and the team members. A team leader is just appointed to monitor the team. Okay, so there is no difference and should not arise any conflict in the team. The next thing is norming. Actually, this is an agreement made with the team members that how should we act, what are the things we should do, and what we do not do there. Like everything is agreemented. Okay, the role of the team leader plays a major key here. The team leader should maintain the team and should not make the team to act as an individual. A clear strategy and a clear vision. All the group members should have know the vision of the project. Vision, which means what is the overall project is goal. Like we should not act as an individual and should discuss with the team, share ideas with the team also. The next thing is a perfect team should contain how many members? Like it has two members, four members, or above four, or it has no limit. And I do prefer there is no limit for the team members to form a team. But the thing is, once we are going to form a team, we have to look all the four things for a team, better team formation. And the next thing is a structure plan. Now I'm going to discuss about how the overall project is should be structured. Okay, like once we ask a question, we get an answer, right? So before starting a project, you should ask questions in yourself to start it with the clear vision. Okay, like we'll ask some basic ideas about how to structure it. Okay, then the first thing is empathize. Then what is empathize? It mentions that what is the problem? This is the first question you have to ask in yourself before to start a project. Like you have to define the challenge and explore the human content. Okay, like you have to define what is the challenge is about or what is the problem we are going on. Like for an example, now we are going with the COVID crisis, right? So you have to think in such a way like what are the projects to be done, like for maintaining distance with the people, for wearing mask. Like you have to think what is the problem and then only you have to move on with your ideas. Discussing the structured plan, right? The next thing is defining. Like you have to think why it is important. For that, you have to research, observe, and create a point of view. Like each and every one point of view is different. So you have to make yourself comfortable and you have to define your ideas. Then once it is defined, you have to solve it. Like you will be having a problem in your hand, you have some ideas and you have to put down all these and you have to make an idea in a complete view. The next thing is testing. Once it is completed, you have to test your project. Like before and creating an implementation, you have to test your project yourself whether it will be useful to the society, it is okay, like it has come to a real time application. Like that, you have to test your project. And testing the project is not like upon an individual role, it is a group activity. You have to sit along with your group, discuss with your team members, share your ideas, and then test your project. The next thing is, once it is tested, you can bring your prototype to the outside society. Like you have to give a final prototype. You can add some extra features. And one thing, before designing a real-time application, you should have some basic ideas, like you have to add some extra features to your project. Like you will actually having many ideas in the society, but when you add some extra feature to it, it will be open up to a real time application. So do add some extra ideas, and will have discuss with your team and will bring a final prototype. The next thing is design plan. So once it is made to a final prototype, you have to make a complete design. Like you have to monitor these four things before moving on your project to the platform. So the first thing you have to check on your project is if the project is a cost effective project. Like before designing it, real time application should be cost effective so that it is made available to all level of people. So you have to design a project which is very low in cost. So fix the cost of your project before you are going to design it. The next thing is time management. Like before joining a competition, you will be having some time limit, right? Like 1 month plan. So you have to make a basic plan for your project, like where to start and where to end, and what is the time limit for that project. And you have to complete the project in a stipulated time. The time management is a basic crisis all the people will face. So, in order to overcome it, you have to discuss with your teammates. You should have design a daily routine work, and you have to discuss with your group and should make the time management plan. The next thing is competition. Once you are joining a platform, you will be having more and more competition for designing this project teams, right? So in order to overcome that competition level, you should make your team more effective and should design a project that is very new and unique. The next thing is a real time application. Once everything is over, you have to fix the target to bring a real time application. You have to add some extra features to it and will make a unique project. The next thing is feedback. So once it is over, you have to get feedback from the people. Like as a student, you can get feedback from your teachers so that you can get a clear vision of the project. Or else, if anything to be changed, you will be getting that a negative feedback, and you can change it to bring that your project to the next level. And one thing, the feedback will improve the project, it will give a better unique outcome. The next thing is I'm going to discuss about some important requirement gathering techniques. Like the requirement gathering is something like we before starting a project we'll be having some ideas, but don't know where to gather all those requirements, right? And we need to maintain these six things in order to make a big and good project. Like start right way. This is the first thing. Being documenting everything is the best way to design a good project. Because I'm saying this, like when starting a project you will be having some ideas, but at the end you may forget that, right? So in order to overcome this, you have to note down all the things from start till end, so that once you came to the end you can refer all those and add some extra unique features to your project. The next thing is you should make use of the templates. I mentioned templates like the basic ideas we have in the net. Actually, combining all the basic ideas will give you a new project, right? So you should refer about all the templates available in the internet and should make use of it to bring a unique solution. The next thing is teamwork. Actually, teamwork makes the dream work, right? So once you join your team and should make a good project, it will be helpful for yourself and all your teammates. Okay, so once starting with the team, you should assign your work not only to the leader and should share with the everyone present in the team. You have to share your notes having, and you have to arrange meetings regularly with the team to share ideas and think like what the project is going on and what is the vision of the project. You should have some clear idea about the project. Okay, the next thing is don't just record requirements, you should learn. Like before noting that all the points, you should learn what is the point is about, because simply writing is not a big thing now. You have to design in such a way it is a unique. So you have to learn more, you have to sit and work so that you'll be having a better idea. And one thing, discuss why and how. When do we ask questions, we'll be getting more ideas, right? So before designing a project, do sit with your team members, ask questions each other, discuss some points, and from that you will be getting the better ideas. The next thing is decision making. Share your decision with the team members. This is the important thing. Like we'll be having an idea in one point of view, but when it is shared with the team, you'll be getting more ideas in different aspects, right? So before doing a project, do sit with your team members, share your ideas, from where you can get more and enough ideas to start a big project. Okay, the next thing is decision making, and this is a role played by the team leader. I say this because if everyone is capable of decision making, right? But in a team, only one should make the decision so that your team will move in a good path. The next thing is a clear agenda of the project. So before starting a project, you should have a clear agenda. Like we have to start from this and will end with a real-time application. From start till end, you have to have a clear agenda of the project. Actually, this helps in developing a better project. Like only this happens when you join with your team members and share your ideas, because if you're not shared, your other teammates will not be able to know what you thinking and will not have a clear idea of the project. Also, the team leader should maintain some clear agenda with all the teammates. Like the team member alone should know what the team is moving with and should have to make some decisions in the right time to make your team move in a right path. The next thing, now we are going to discuss about some basic kits. Actually, most of the school students will be working in a project with Arduino, right? But we do not know what is really a Arduino and what are the types of Arduinos we have, how much projects we can make with Arduino, or what is the recent technologies we are moving with Arduino, right? So now we'll discuss all about this. The first thing is, what is the Arduino? Everyone knew Arduino. Like it is the open source software. And you think, why do we choose Arduino? Because it is very simple in programming language. Actually, it is the basics of C. Once you need the C programming, you can automatically judge the Arduino coding. So it is not a big thing. So most of the people were choosing the Arduino field to do their projects. The Arduino is a board that is capable of reading the inputs from something like a sensor or a button and will give you the output through a buzzer or like glowing with the LEDs. It is the output. Okay. The next thing is along with the code editor, it is having some compiler, uploader and libraries. You may not aware of the libraries, but it's okay. You should know what is the compiler and what is an uploader. A compiler is a thing where we are going to do our code, and the uploader is the thing where we'll be getting the final upload output. These were some of the types of Arduinos we have. Actually, we basically know this Arduino. I think this is Arduino Uno, and the processor used here is Atmega 16U2. This is one of a microcontroller. Okay, and why we are commonly using this? Because it has an increased rate of transfer and has a large memory size. So we are basically using this Arduino Uno. And what are the pins we have? Actually, in Arduino, we'll be having an analog input and also a digital input. But analog input is between 2 to 13 and digital input, sorry, analog is input is 0 to 5 and digital input is between 2 to 13. Okay, the thing is we will be having a reset button in our Arduino. Once you click that, it will automatically goes to the previous reset condition. The next thing is we will be having a USB plug there. So we can give some external output to the circuit, and we'll also have an external power supply. The next thing is in Arduino Uno, we do not need any external devices to give the power, to give the data. Like we'll be giving to the pins. The next thing is it will be having a flash memory of size 32 KB and cannot be combined with other Arduinos. The next thing is lily pad Arduino. I think most of the peoples were not aware with this Arduino because this is highly used in textile industries. Like it is integrated with wearable projects and it will be highly used in textile factories. It is in the round shape. It is designed in round shape in order to decrease this nagging. Like moving on with the textile factories, it should not mingle with others now. So it is in round shape. The microcontroller used this Atmega 328 microcontroller and it will be having an Arduino bootloader. The complete design is easy and it's very compatible. So it is used in textile industry. Also, it is used for controlling different devices. Like why this Arduino is used there? What is the application of this Arduino? You have a question, right? It is used there for controlling the machines in textile industries. It is like controlling some sensors moving on with there in the textile industries. The next thing is Arduino Mega. It is also a basic project kit like you know. Most of the people will use Atmega Arduino kit. It is Atmega 2560 microcontroller. Okay, and the special feature is it will be having a crystal oscillator of frequency 16 megahertz and the memory size is 256 KB size. Okay, also, the special feature is analog input is more compared to Arduino Uno because in Uno we have only 0 to 5 and this analog input here is 0 to 15. Like also knew something like we will be moving from Uno, then this Lilypad Arduino and this Mega Arduino. We'll be having some extra features added to all these next steps of Arduino. Okay, here we'll be having some serial communications. Okay, then the next thing is Arduino Leonardo. It is also a Atmega 32U4 microcontroller. It will be similar to Atmega microcontroller, like it will be having a crystal oscillator of frequency 16 megahertz. And the thing is, here the digital, look, the digital input pin is from 2 to 30. It is increased, right? I think in Arduino Uno will be having from 2 to 2 to 12, I think, and so I'll be having 2 to 30. It is more similar to Uno. It will be having an analog pin of 0 to 5. Okay. The next thing is Arduino Redboard. It is also the commonly used Arduino. It is highly used in Li-Fi based projects. You know what is the Li-Fi? Li-Fi is the light technology where we'll be having an transmitter and a receiver, and we'll be using these communications in mining technologies. Okay, all because they are using this red Arduino board in mining. And there is the basic thing that we see in the Redboard is there is no need to change the security when we use in Windows or in Ubuntu like any other OS platforms. But it is highly compatible to use this board in Windows 8. It is very simple and highly integrated board. The next thing is barrel jack is present here, and that is used to control the USB port which is present at the top of this board. The next thing is we'll be having an LED like RGB LED also, and power LED is present here. The next thing is the type of Arduino we are moving to the last. The last one is Arduino Shield. Actually, this Arduino is similar to a shield providence for all the above Arduinos I say. It will be acting as a shielding component, and it will be more similar to Arduino Uno. It will be acting as a shield jacket to other Arduinos and can be connected to many other Arduino boards. It will be placed at the top of the Arduino board, and which is used to increase the compatibility of the Arduino boards. And the next application we're going to discuss is about MIT App Inventor. Actually, this app is designed by MIT students. This is highly designed for the school students to design some basic mobile applications. Actually, the most applications we are using in mobile is designed using Android. But in the basic level, we will be using this MIT app to design. And what is the difference between some Android application and this MIT application is in MIT we can design only some 3 to 5 slides. But in Arduino we can design n number of slides. This is the difference. But when we are starting from basics, we should first inquire about this MIT App Inventor application. So here we'll be having an website in the below. I have mentioned this link. You can go and refer this. When you start this, you will be having a screen, and from there you can use some buttons, reset pins, images, labels to design a simple project. Okay, and one thing, it is available in 19 languages. Like this is the process. Actually it is available in the Google App Inventor servers, and we can download this mobile application, and from there it will be having a block codings. It is not like typing a coding in Arduino, but will be having some blocks. You have to join these blocks, and will have another screen where you can see the output. Once you join the blocks, the output will be displayed there. That is mentioned as App Inventor Designer, and the other is Code Block Editor. Once it is designed, it will be shared as a mobile application to another mobile phones. Then this is the Arduino. Like everyone knew about Arduino, but Arduino is a open source software. And you have a question: why do we choose Arduino as a basic kit for doing projects? This is the thing. Like it have some basic coding similar to C programming. Other all do require some higher level languages, but Arduino is the basic kit having basic codings. So do Arduino is preferred more. Now we are going to discuss about some types of Arduino. Like there are 6 types. We'll start from Uno. This is the basic it most will use for all the projects. And why we prefer is it will be having 5 analog input, 2 to 13 digital inputs or output, and will be having an best microcontroller. The microcontroller used is Atmega 16U2 microcontroller, and there is no need of extra devices here. Okay, and the flash memory size is 32 KB, and this Arduino can be combined with any other Arduino presented. Okay, so we mostly use this Arduino Uno. The next thing we use is LilyPad Arduino, right? The LilyPad Arduino is highly used in textile industry. And you have a question why we use this kind of Arduino there? Because it is round in shape. The round in shape will decrease the snagging. Like it can be easily fitted to any parts in textile industry. And it's also easy compatible. So we are using this kind of Arduino in textile industry. The next thing is Arduino Mega. We are using the Atmega 2560 microcontroller. And the special feature is we will be having 15 analog inputs here. Compared to this will be having n number of analog inputs. So you are using this Mega Arduino. The flash memory size is 256 KB, okay, and it will having a crystal oscillator of frequency 16 megahertz. Also, the special feature of Mega is will be having the serial communication, okay. This is the main thing. And the next thing is Arduino Leonardo. The Leonardo is a new kit, okay. It will be having an Atmega 32U4 microcontroller. It will be more similar to Uno, but will be having some extra feature with the ICSP header. This is the new feature add compared to the Uno. Okay, also we are using this Arduino to remove the dependency of extra processor, right? In other Arduinos, we'll be using some extra processor inside, which will be producing more heat and will be producing more heat dissipation. Like when it is more heat dissipated, we'll be using some heat dissipation avoidance. Like it is not needed here. It will be having a no processor, okay, and it is the cheapest Arduino board compared to others. The next thing is Arduino Redboard. In Arduino Redboard, you will be having a mini USB cable and there is no need to change the security. The security is the thing like when you are using Arduino in Windows or in Ubuntu, will be using different security system. But when you are using this Arduino Redboard, it is not needed. It is common to all the operating system, but it is more compatible when you use this in Windows 8 operating system. And the extra feature added here is FTDI chip and the USB chip. Also, this is very simple and easily integrated. And one thing, the real-time application design using this Redboard is called as mining system. Like when we are doing mining, they are using some Li-Fi technology to contact the people, like the miners. Okay, so for that process, they are using this Arduino Redboard. The next is Arduino Shield. Actually, this is the last Arduino board invented. The thing is, we are using this Arduino Shield to make a protective cover for all the other Arduinos. It will be placed on top of the Arduino board and is more similar to The next thing I'm going to discuss about is MIT App Inventor. I think many of you knew this but don't know how to design. But because we will think this is a big project, right? No, or MIT App Inventor is invented only by the student. So I prefer for you school students to do more projects on MIT App Inventor. What is the MIT App Inventor? It is similar to the Android application, but what is the difference between MIT an Android application and a MIT application is in Android application we'll be having some n number of slides. Okay, like in MIT we'll be having a minimum number of slides, like we can design only 5 to 6 slides. This is the difference. But when we are starting from beginning, it is highly appreciable if you did a project using MIT App Inventor. Okay, it is having some 19 languages, and this is the structure plan. Like for this MIT App Inventor, this is the basic procedure, and the MIT App Inventor web page is having a designer side and a code side. Okay, like in code we are not writing a code, it is just creating some blocks, and when we create these blocks, automatically the design will be prepared on the other side. That is what we are calling it is in the two stages. One is the designer stage and it is the block editor stage. Once this design is over, it will be automatically completed to a Android application, and you can share this to other phones. You can download it and you can act as make it as a complete application. The next thing is Raspberry Pi. Okay, like most of us were using Raspberry Pi. And what is it basically is, this is like a mini processor. Like in computer, we are having a processor, right? It is very big in size and we have to make some special space for that to place, right? Like in order to avoid it, we are using this Raspberry Pi. This is the mini processor. Okay, like we'll be having some separate desktop for Raspberry Pi, which is called as Raspbian desktop. We can instead of using this CPU and all those things, we can just connect a Raspberry Pi. We just need a monitor. We'll connect this and you'll be get the Raspbian desktop on the screen. This is the major advantage of Raspberry Pi. And in further days, they are invented more and more kinds of Raspberry Pi, which will be having some special features in it. Okay, the first model is Raspberry Pi Model B. It is invented in 2012, but the next model is B plus. Then what is the difference from B to B plus? They have added some extra feature to it. Like in B, we'll be having one Wi-Fi module, and in B plus we can connect two modules. Like in the next step, they invented Pi 2. And what is the difference? It is invented in 2015. Okay, like they have increased the GB size. Then next is Pi 0. Why we call it as a Pi 0? Because it is very less weight and will do have some basic things. But because of this reduced size, we can use this particularly in placing of drones. Okay, the next thing is Pi 3 Model B. The Pi 3 is designed with some extra features, like we can add the Raspberry Pi camera. Okay, the camera is used to capture the images and will automatically process that using the Raspberry Pi. And the next is Pi 4 is designed in 2019, and now we are designed with Pi 4 400 and Pi Pico. Okay, all these were designed to increase GB size and also added some extra features. Like we'll be having more USB ports to connect Wi-Fi or other modules. The next thing we are going to discuss about is sensor. Now we are going to discuss about some 15 types of sensors. Okay, because before introducing you into a project, you should have some basic knowledge about sensors, right? Because once you know about all the application of each and every sensor, then you can design yourself a best project. So now we are going to discuss about sensors. The first thing is vision and imaging sensor. Actually, the use of this sensor is to display a visual image for the user. Like it will be detect the presence of object and it will be it will be converting that into a display image. The image is displayed in LCD. Okay, like The extra feature is it will be providing some better illumination, and do these sensors will be having basic levels and from low to high levels. Okay, so we'll discuss about the basic levels. In the basic, it will be capturing a object and will directly convert them to a image. We can see the image in LCDs. The next sensor is temperature sensor. The commonly used temperature sensor is LM35 sensor. Okay, here we'll be having a output, a ground connection, and a power supply. Okay, in the output pin you can see the output. Then where the sensor is used, it has an application. Like I'll say one example of a real-time application of this temperature sensor. We'll be mostly using this temperature sensor to detect the temperature of a room. Like controlling of a fan using sensor is done with this temperature sensor. When we place this temperature sensor in the fan and connect that to the switch, it will be automatically detecting the temperature of the room, and from that it will be maximizing the control speed of fan or will be minimizing the speed of fan. This is the real time application. And the process here is it will be completely relied on temperature, right? It will be measure the temperature compared with voltages and will provide an output voltage. If you want, you can display the voltage level in the LCD display. The next thing is radiation sensor. This radiation sensor is also used in variety of applications where it will be producing some radiations, and once the radiation is distracted by an object, it will be directly sending an information. Actually, this sensor is used in radiation detectors. Like we'll be having a real-time application based on when we place the sensor on a vehicle on the front and it will be moving, right? So once the object is interrupted, the line will be detecting an interruption and it will be directly sending a signal to the other processors. The next thing is proximity sensor. The proximity sensor is also known as ultrasonic sensor. So most of you know the sensor like ultrasonic sensor. It will be similar to the radiation sensor. The radiation sensor is sending the radiation and the ultrasonic sensor is sending the sound waves. So once the sound waves get distracted, it will automatically detect an object and will send the signals to the output. The next sensor is the pressure sensor. Okay, the pressure sensor is highly used in industrial applications where we need to measure the pressure of the machines. Like the next is photoelectric sensor. We are using this sensor in all applications. Like it will be having a transmitter, a receiver. Once the path is distracted, it will be detecting the output. The next is the particle sensor. The particle sensor is used to sense the dust and other airborne particles. So it is mostly used in baghouse monitoring process. Also, it is used in nuclear engineering. Why it is used? Because when in nuclear engineering, we'll be detecting some small particles, right? So there we are using this particle sensor will detect some small particles and will send an output to the monitor. The next thing is a motion sensor. It is sensing the motion, like it is sensing the movement or it is sensing the path of stoppage. Okay, this is highly used in industrial applications only. The next thing is a level sensor. Then where do we using this level sensor? It is used to detect the water level, right? It is detecting the height of the gas leakage, height of the liquids, height of the solids. Everything we can detect using this level sensor. Also, it is meant to determine the product height. Okay. One real-time application we can discuss here is like in a water pump. Okay, we are designing a project to determine the water level, and once the water level reaches a particular height, you need to detect the level and you have to send some signal to the output receiver so that they can avoid the problem of overflowing of water from that tank. So we are using this level sensors in that project. The next thing is leak sensor, the same application. We can detect the leakage of any particles. Like in a pump, we'll be having some leakage point, right? When you place this sensor on a pump, it will automatically detect where the leakage is present, and it is used in many gaseous application. Now we are using many toxic gases, right? And we should be always careful that the gases should not be leaked anywhere. And in that places, we are using this leak sensors. The next thing is humidity sensor. Then where do we use this humidity sensor? It is used to measure the humidity present in the air or humidity present in water. Okay. The next thing is flame sensor. We do commonly use this sensor in all the applications. Like it is placed in many companies. We will be having an alarm system, right? Whenever a flame occurs, it will be automatically giving an alarm system. From their applications, we are using this flame sensor. It will be having some ultraviolet radiation or an infrared radiation. It will be passing that radiation. So once it detects a fire, it will be automatically giving an alarm sound and will be connected to a buzzer using some Arduinos and giving the from that sound we can infer that some flame is going on there. The next thing is flash sensor. Flash sensor is also similar to some leak sensors. Okay, we will be detecting the flaws present in a project. Also, this sensor is used to identify defect present in the materials. Okay, it is mostly used in manufacturing process. The next thing is IR sensor, which is the infrared sensor. We are using this in various applications. It will be emitting some infrared radiation. Actually, the sensor itself having a transmitter and a receiver. Here, do see this image. The black one is a receiver and the white one is a transmitter. It will be sending the infrared radiation. And when this infrared radiation is getting distracted, the transmitter will send some signal to the receiver. And once the receiver gets that signal, it will be connected to a buzzer and will be giving some alarm sounds. So we can use this in highly manufacturing applications and also in common basic applications. The next thing is optical sensor. Okay, the optical sensor is a sensor which convert light rays to electronic signals. Okay, with these we can use this application in where light rays are emitted. The next thing is we are going to discuss about IoT. We commonly hear this word IoT in all places, but we don't know what is IoT, right? Everyone knew the definition, Internet of Things. But how do we connect the things with internet? It is the question, right? There I'll answer. We'll be having some sensors with the things. It is attached to the things. So once you give internet to the sensors, it will be controlling the objects, even the unmoving objects. Okay, so we call it as Internet of Things. We are making the things to move. We are making the things to act. That is what it is called as Internet of Things. Actually, we are using this application in a wide range of projects. Before moving on to a real-time application, you should definitely have some basic ideas about IoT. And for that, I have mentioned two websites where you can refer about IoT basics and also IoT projects. The link is mentioned here. Okay. Then we'll discuss about some real-time projects. Now we have discussed all the basics about designing a project, how to design, what are the things we should infer before designing a project, and we also discussed about some basic kits like Arduinos, Raspberry Pi, IoT, and sensors. When you have a knowledge about all these sensors and all these applications, now you are ready to develop a real-time application. The first real-time application I said is automatic street light. Okay, everyone knew about this project. Actually, this is a very simple project and is now successfully going on with all highway projects. Okay, now we'll discuss about this. Okay, how do you know how this is designed? Actually, the project is having some IR sensors. Okay, I said now, what is a IR sensor? It will be having a transmitter and a receiver. It will be sending some signals from transmitter to receiver, and once the signal is interrupted, it will be sending an output signal. I said now look this image. It will be having the white color transmitter and the black color receiver. The signal is commonly passing between this transmitter and receiver. And once a vehicle interrupts this, it will be output is connected to some LEDs. Okay, so when the vehicle is interrupting the signal, the output is given to the LED and the lights are glowing. So when the vehicle comes to the path, the lights will automatically grow. And once the vehicle passes to the path, the lights get off. Actually, this is designed to avoid the wastage of power, right? Because in highways and all places where mostly vehicles are not there, the light is always glowing on and we are wasting energies in that, right? In order to avoid wastage of energies, we are using this project where only when vehicle comes the light will glow, and when the vehicle moved on the light will automatically get off. And I have mentioned a link where you can refer about this project. There it will be having a video application about how to design this automatic street light. And I mentioned one thing, before going on to a new real-time application, you should know about all the real-time applications that are designed till now. So from that you can get some ideas. Okay. Also, we can design this project using ultrasonic sensor. Do you know how can we design? Actually, using ultrasonic sensor is an extra feature, right? Actually, the problem when we design this project is like when a vehicle interrupt only the light is on, right? So before a vehicle entering also we can on the light with the using the ultrasonic sensor at the start of the project. So once the vehicle come at a particular distance will be automatically glowing on the lights, and once the vehicle crosses the light gets off. So using ultrasonic sensor is an extra added unique feature of this project. The next thing is real-time crop health monitoring. This is my own project which I designed in my college days. Okay, actually the project is we are going to identify the type of disease present in a leaf and will be going to give some remedial measures for that. This is an agriculture based project because mostly farmers are facing a issue like what disease is present in the leaf, and without knowing the disease they are commonly using the basic pesticides that will be affecting the soil, water, and will be causing some pollutions, right? So in order to avoid that, we are identifying the type of disease present in the leaf, and according to that type we are providing you the better solution. Okay, so first thing is we have to identify the diseases. So how we are identifying the diseases? Actually, using the ultrasonic sensor. we are using the Raspberry Pi device. We fitted with the drone there. So the Raspberry Pi, we use this Raspberry Pi 3B plus. I said no, the Raspberry Pi 3B plus is having a special feature of added Raspberry Pi camera. So the camera will detect the leaf present on the top and will detect the disease also. So will capture the image of the disease. And I have done with the coding that will automatically detect the disease and will classify the type of disease. It is dumped in the Raspberry Pi. So once the image is captured, the image is automatically sensed and the output is processed, and finally the classified output is sent to a expert in workstation and the farmer with mobile application. The expert in workstation here mentioned is the agriculture department. We are sending an alert message to the agriculture department, and another message is sent to the mobile application of the farmer. So once the farmer gets the alert message, they can refer the mobile application be provided for further implications. This is the overall view of the project. Then this is the output of our project. Like I told now, we are going to classify the type of disease. Look, this image, we are classified the type of disease as paddy blast. Okay, this is the various images of the disease present in the leaf. This is captured by the Raspberry Pi camera, and here we are using the Raspberry Pi kit for capturing these images. And once the images are captured, we are using the AI technology for classifying the images. And you know what is AI technology? It is artificial intelligence. Actually, this is the booming technology in the growing world. Okay. So in order, if you need some extra information about AI technology, do refer in Google. We'll be having n number of projects related to AI. But before moving on to AI technology, you should know about IoT, and you should do some basic mini projects on IoT. Then you can automatically move to AI technology. The next thing is, this is the mobile application being designed and given to the farmer. Okay, this mobile application is designed using MIT App Inventor. I said the MIT App Inventor having some stubborn slides. Okay, and I mentioned only three different type of diseases present in the rice plant. And according to the type of disease, we have given the symptoms present in the leaf and the solutions we have to use in order to clear that disease. The next application is home automation. In home automation, we are making our home to work as smart as possible. So, how do we make our home smart? Like, this is a question now. So, we are answering like, yes, we can. We can connect using the IoT application. So, how the IoT helps? We are making the things to think. Like we are, I said now, in IoT it is mentioned as Internet of Things. So we are giving the internet connection to all the things and controlling all the things activities using our smartphone. So how this is designed is, it is having a mobile application designed using Android, and from that mobile application you can control all the devices present in your home, something like fridge, your washing machine, or your gas stoves. So how do we control even all these machines having some sensors? So we are controlling the sensors, and from that we can control the whole application. So once we open our smartphone, we can easily control all the devices present in our home. The next thing is alarm circuit. Actually, this is the basic project everyone should know. Okay, this is used in most of the gas burners. We'll be having some nuclear technologies, right? Where we are commonly using the gases now. So in that circuit, we are placing these alarms. Once we place these alarms there, it will be detecting the sound of the alarm signal and will be giving an alarm to all the people. Like we can use any sensor. We can use gas sensor, we can use flame sensors. When the flame is detected, it will give an alarm, or when the gas leakage is detected, it will give an alarm. Like the common alarm circuit is designed and is placed in many industrial applications. The next thing we discuss about is drone doctor. Actually, this is a mobile application. This is also my own project, okay? And we'll discuss about this. Okay, the first thing is drone doctor. Why do we get this name? Because we are making the drone to act as a doctor. Then how do we make it? We are designing a mobile application and given that application to the patients. Okay, like we'll be having many sensors. Like we'll be having a heart sensor that will detect the heartbeat present in our body. Okay, where do we use the heart sensor? We can wear it as a smartwatch. So the heart sensor is placed in the smartwatch and the sensor is directly connected to the mobile application. So once the heart patient gets some weakness in heart or the heartbeat reduces, it will automatically give an alert message to the hospital. Like we can use the mobile application to think where the hospital is present. That is what we mentioned here. Like we need the first aid, or we need the accident type it, or it is a traffic accident, or it is an attack, or is a natural disaster. Like we can define the types, and from once we open the app, it will be having all the details of nearby hospitals. Okay, and also the distance of the hospital, the doctor's availability, the blood bank availability, everything will be detailed mentioned there. So if anyone who is opening the phone can easily refer this application and can choose the hospital and can directly send the patient to the hospital. Actually, we designed this because mostly people are facing an issue, right? Which hospital do we prefer? They don't have an idea, or they don't know which type of doctor is present here. Because for a heart patient, we need an heart specialist, right? So through this app, we can know the doctor availability, whether the heart specialist is present in that particular hospital or not. So we can choose the hospital. Another one special feature is I said no, through the heart sensor will be automatically given a signal. So when the beep sound comes, the patient can acknowledge, oh, we are getting some heart attack. So they can refer this app and can click the application and can directly send the message to the ambulance. This can highly help the patients to get contact with the hospitals. Also, the special added feature is we are giving some first aid applications. Okay, actually, this will be in the form of PDF or a video application. So, if do okay, you are having this mobile application in your phone and you are moving on a street and you are seeing a heart patient suffering from severe heart attack. You don't know what to do with that patient, right? So in such cases, you can open your mobile phone and open our application, and you can see the video of the first aid given to the heart patient, and you can give that first aid to the patient suffering from heart attack, and you can help them in any crisis. Even a common man can do this. Actually, we designed in such a way that each and every people present in the society can help others. And the next thing is Li-Fi based mine monitoring system. This is also one of my project. I basically designed this project to help the miners. So what is Li-Fi, which is known as light fidelity? Like we'll be having Wi-Fi, right? Which is Wi-Fi fidelity. We call it like that because we'll be using internet and Wi-Fi, and in Li-Fi we are using the light technology. Okay, then how we are using? We are using a Arduino kit, a Li-Fi module, a alert switch, and a power supply. All these are connected with the Arduino kit. and the Wi-Fi module is having a transmitter and a receiver. Okay, the miners will be having some light communication at the underground. Okay, so in that light background, they can go and they can use the transmitter to communicate with the receiver end present at the top of the mining, like in the control room. So they can easily communicate with the control room. Actually, they designed this project because if the underground miners do not get a Wi-Fi connection or do not get a call connection, right? So in order to help them, we can use this light technology. This is now a booming technology because mostly we don't know about Wi-Fi, right? So when we think of a project with Wi-Fi, it will be a new real-time application. The next thing is, this is the overall project view. Actually, we have connected the bulb, the fan, the motors, the gas sensors, anything present with the Arduino Uno kit, and we'll be having some buffers and also a Wi-Fi module. I said the Wi-Fi module will be having a transmitter and a receiver. Usually, the transmitter is mentioned with the white LEDs and the receiver is mentioned with the black LEDs. The transmitter end is present in the miner system and the receiver is present with the control room. So they can communicate with the control room in any time. The next thing is automatic street light. Actually, this is the project I mentioned there. So also here I have mentioned three LEDs like red, yellow, and green. This is a traffic signal, right? So many of us don't know why we are connecting some resistors with the LEDs. You know why we are connecting the resistors? Because when we directly connect LEDs with Arduino kits, it will be giving some 5 volt supply to the LEDs. But mostly LEDs will be getting some 3.2 volts to 2 volts only. So in order to limit the power supplies, we are using the kind of resistors for it. Actually, I designed this in order to say something about the resistors. The next thing is line follower robot. The line follower robot is the basic Arduino project, and we know when you are moving to a Arduino project, the first thing you do is line follower robot. Then how we make it? Actually, we can control the motors present in the four wheels through the Arduino kit. Then how do we control it? We control using the motor sensor. Okay, actually the sensor is present in the wheels. So we are connecting the sensor with the Arduino and we are dumping the codes which make the wheels to move in forward direction or move in right or left. Then why we call it as a line follower robot? We are making the robot to follow a particular line, okay, which is mentioned there in the black. It is just following the black line. Then how we are making it to follow? Yes, we are using some sensors to sense the line. It like we are using the light sensor. Okay, we can have some black lights, so it will follow the black light and move. Okay, also we can use some IR sensors to detect the object coming forward. Like before designing a vehicle, we have to detect the opposite vehicle coming in order to pave way for the opposite vehicle. So we can use the IR sensor. So when an opposite vehicle is detected, it will either move in the left or move in the right. We also think something. If we are having an opposite vehicle and also a side vehicle in the left side, it will automatically move to right. This is the use of IR sensor here. And I have mentioned some link where you can get some knowledge about the line follower robot project. Also, I have mentioned the links for all the above projects where you can go and refer this about the project.
Soundarya, start
Mom,
now.
yes, mom. Mom, in the plants there are diseases, no, mom. The
Yes, ma'am.
the sensors are connected in the plants, mom.
What?
Mom, to find the diseases in the plants, The sensors are connected in the plant or somewhere else, ma'am?
Actually, it is Raspberry Pi only. It is not a sensor. The Raspberry Pi is connected in a drone. The drone will fly over the plant and will capture the image only. And from that image, we can identify the disease.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, then in the natural disaster, that's where it is connected with smartphone, no, ma'am. That also like the phone or sensors.
Actually, you are asking about disasters, right?
Yes, ma'am. Disasters that accidents, terrorism, like that.
Ask again.
Ma'am.
Ask your questions again.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the natural disasters, the terrorism, the accidents that is
Yes.
connected with smartphone, no, ma'am. How it can differentiate the accidents? It is a natural disaster. It's a bomb blast.
Actually, oh, you are asking about the Drone Doctor app, right? Actually, the mobile application is having details about this. So when you are seeing a patient lying with heart attack, you can tick the option, right? It is not a traffic incident, it is a common injury. So you can tick that option, and for that you will be getting the nearby hospitals and all other details.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any
Ma'am, I'm
other?
asking that natural disaster is shown on image, no, ma'am.
Yes. Like when you are moving on a street, it is raining, okay, and you are seeing that some natural disaster is going to happen. So for that issue, you can tick the option as natural disaster, and for that it will be providing the basic details.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, how the line rover works? The line rover
Line
helps.
follower robot, okay. Actually the line follower robot follows the line drawn, the black line drawn in the picture, right? It will be following that black line and moving towards the line.
Ma'am, for which it helps?
Okay. Actually, the application is we can fix it in a car. Okay. Now we are recent technologies. We are thinking like without a man, we can drive a car, right? For that places, we can use this. We can place some IR sensor on the front view so that it will be detecting the opposite vehicles and it can move left, right, or will be following the center line of the road and moving. For that projects, we can design this.
Ma'am, it is in the outside of the car or inside?
Actually, the sensors are placed outside the car. We can place the other components internal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other?
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes, ma, you can ask.
Yes, you can ask.
Ma'am, in the water sensors in the dams, rivers, we can connect in a home also, no, ma'am, in rainy season. If the
Yes, you
rain
can connect.
if the rain was increased in the street, we can inform, no, ma'am, the rain level water. Ma'am,
Soundarya?
ma'am?
Yes, ma,
Hello.
ask your doubt once again.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the water sensors is there, no, ma'am. We can connect
Yes.
in rivers, dams, no, ma'am.
Yes.
During rainfall seasons, the streets are stagnant
Yes.
in water, no, ma'am. We can
Yes.
connect there also, no, ma'am.
Yes, you can connect in everywhere. But the major application we say is you can connect it in your water tank. Okay, like when the water level goes in the above, it will be detected and it will give an alarm system so that you can off your motors.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Any other?
Ma'am, I have a doubt, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, may I know about the application of proximity sensors, ma'am?
Ma'am, actually, proximity sensor is an ultrasonic sensor, ma'am. We can
Okay, ma'am.
place ultrasonic sensor even in the line follower robot. It will be sending an ultrasonic wave to the opposite. So once the wave get distracted with an object, it will give an alarm system. So the in line follower robot, if the object is detected in the opposite, it will automatically move in right or left.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am,
Anything?
ma'am, and one more, ma'am. What is the major difference between the Arduino and Raspberry, ma'am?
Ma'am, actually Arduino is a basic kit, but Raspberry is like a processor. we can
Okay, ma'am.
use Raspberry instead of CPU. We'll be having a separate desktop, separate operating system. But in Arduino, will not have a separate operating system. We can access it in Windows and we'll be having some separate codings. But for Raspberry Pi, we can dump any coding like Python, C programming. For that, we can use some open source software platforms.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, by connecting the Node MCU with the Arduino, we can use like a Raspberry Pi, ma'am.
Actually, Arduino can, yes, ma'am, we can use it as a Raspberry Pi, but the complete Raspberry Pi application cannot be designed in Arduino.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, for my project, I want to use the face recognition. What type of processor I want to choose, ma'am?
Ma'am, for face recognition, you can use AI only now, ma'am. For
Okay, ma'am.
AI connection, we can use the Raspberry Pi along with OpenCV software, ma'am. It is like
Okay,
a
ma'am.
open software where you can dump Python, C, all this in a single code.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, Python is the language only for the Raspberry Pi, ma'am?
No, ma'am, we can actually I'm saying this now, ma'am. Like in OpenCV, we can dump any type of coding. Like we can half do with Python and half with C programming. So when we use this OpenCV, we can use any type of coding in Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi doesn't have a special type of coding like Python.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Anything?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.